Hi YouTube, Coinpicker here. Here are my thrift store finds for the week. Not too many finds, but some interesting items. Now we have this really cool Nerf gun. Look how long this thing is. It's a Centurion N-Strike Elite. It works and very powerful. Has a magazine, only has 3 little foam rounds right here. Only 3, holds, what's it say, 6. But check out the price, guys. $7.99. So dirt cheap. I don't play with toys anymore. Well, most of the time. Kids are a little bit too old for this stuff, but well, Coinpicker Jr. thought it was pretty cool. But I bought this because it was dirt cheap, and I made some money selling the last blaster, that huge blaster. Well, that one was automated, but still, this one where it's like a bolt action. This, I checked the comps between $40 and $70 Canadian. So I'm gonna flip this eventually once I get a little bored of it. But I thought, yeah, not bad. Nice little flip. Found some more crystal for Grandma Picker, my mom. So it was only $1.99. She loves crystal. So it shows, what do you call it? It's like laser tattoo, they call it. Like, it's like 3D. But it's a polar bear mama with its polar bear baby on a ice float. So I bought this for my mom. She loves these kind of things. So I'm gonna, after make this video, I'm gonna wash it and present it to her. Cool. So basically, very, very sentimental, very, you could say symbolic. I'll say, hey mom, that's you. And that's me, your little baby boy. Well, that's for good old mom. And I went to one of my favorite Salvation Army thrift stores. First of all, actually, this was Salvation Army. So was this, and so was this. Now check this out. Went to Salvation Army, saw in their display case all the goodies that you can't use coupons on. And right away, I asked the lady, can you open the case? I want to check this out. You know, I waited a couple minutes. Someone opens eventually. And so she pulls this out. And I recognize that symbol. Sure, it's a standing lion passant. Which, this was one of the marks for Berks, the jewelry company in Canada. Like the Canadian version of Tiffany's. And I was expecting to see sterling marked on the bottom, but no. Let's see. Well, anyways, check this out. It says Regency Plate, Canada. Most people, after seeing that, would put that down because it's funny, the manager or the lady, you know, one of the higher up staff that opened the case for me said, yeah, it's funny. A lot of people asked to see this today, but I was the only one to pull the trigger because right away I said, bring it to the front. I'm going to look around, save it for me. I'm going to buy it. $9.99. All right. This is the trick. Don't say that I don't teach you folks anything. Yeah, you folks. Basically, this is probably from the 80s, let's say 70s to 80s. No, 70 to 90s. 1970s to 1990s, that is. From the Berks jewelry store. And it is a ring box. They call it a bell-shaped ring box. It might be older. And still has its original insert, little slit here to put your ring. And basically, I think it was like after the mid 90s or approximately, maybe even earlier, that they replaced these nice fancy engagement ring boxes with like cheap sort of felt lined blue boxes. Very interesting story where Tiffany in the States had blue boxes, famous for it, but a lighter shade of blue. So I don't know, they didn't get in trouble for using a darker blue box, but you can't really copyright a color, right? So they went cheap later on and used like plastic, blue boxes, and then later like cardboard boxes. But yeah, this is actually very collectible. Now, the thing is, the earlier versions of these, or maybe they had at the same time, they actually had some that were made of sterling silver. So I bought this. All right, almost forgot the tip. The tip is ask them to put it aside for you. Then, while you're shopping, use your phone, your smartphone, and do your comps. Check your, comparables, do the research. I checked on the solds as well as the active listings for eBay, and even a silver plated one. All right, first of all, sterling silver one sells between $150 and $200 Canadian. However, a silver plated one still sells between sells around $80 Canadian on average. Sometimes a little bit lower, sometimes a little higher. Some cases, people sell them even with missing like hinge pins or missing inserts. But this is complete, good shape. And I love my vintage sterling and gold jewelry that I've been slowly squirreling away over all these years of thrifting. So if I have any vintage rings, I would definitely like to put them in, or put one of them in this box. Cool for display. Sort of reminds me of like those old-fashioned inkwells. But yeah, score $9.99. Not gonna sell it. First, it's funny because it's like the first time I ever found one of these. I've heard so much about them just by accident, like searching Berks silver, and sometimes these pop up on the listings. But pretty cool. Very nice. Good potential profit if I'm willing and, wanting to sell, to sell this thing, which I am not. Okay. Now we're going to try something a little different because this week was a little bit slim pickings. I mean, we got some good quality, unique items. However, just to make this video a little bit more interesting and that I don't build up a whole bunch of pictures of stuff I don't pick up, at the end of this pickup section, at the end, I'm going to put in and make commentary on the things that I found interesting, but did not measure up, and I decided not to purchase. Or they were totally, outrageous, weird, funky, whatever. So you'll be seeing that shortly. All right, at the Value Village, I see this Mac old school mouse, vintage, $3.99. And look at the back, looks like in good shape. They actually had a whole computer and they parted it out. I think they tried to sell it all together, but no one bought. So it was actually cheaper once they priced it all individually. See, $39.99 for the computer itself. Check out the side. This is a G5, I believe. And I even popped open the side panel. Looks pretty cool. And here is the monitor, $39.99. I even spotted this unusual motherboard. It was, I guess, used for like mining, making Bitcoin, I guess. Never opened. apparently they have no value anymore, obviously, being at the thrift store. And then we have a vintage calculator. Maybe I should have bought this. I don't know, you tell me. Is there any value in it for $2.99? Looks pretty cool. Made in Hong Kong. And then we have some vintage toys. This is a Transformer vintage one. I think it's G1 or G2, but check this out. There's a broken piece, so I left it behind. But it would be really cool if it was in one piece. And here are some Chinese knockoffs. Trans Robot. Robot Prime. Okay. And I got excited when I saw this. Popped it open. Said Berks, the name I like to see. And on back, the price was even better. $1.99. But this is the only part I did not like. Silver plated. Well, it was still worth something. Maybe I should have picked it up. I was looking for sterling though. And this is a pretty cool, I think 1970s or 80s souvenir from China. It's actually a remake of an old compass. And here is a model from China as well. Pretty cool. Lots of detail. And these were pretty cool, like soapstone or some sort of soft stone carvings. And that's the price for each one. And then we have some antique curved glass pictures, probably from turn of the century or maybe, late 1800s. And this antique looking cane caught my eye. I would pick it up if I see some silver little bits on it, but this has inlaid with shell, if you see those little white parts, and you will see it here as well. $9.99, a little pricey for my taste. And I thought I hit the jackpot when I saw this, but I was a little bit disappointed when I looked at the side of it. Oh well. Came close. It is a way of increasing your wealth. It's a piggy bank. Don't you wish you found a bar of gold from the thrift store? And then I saw this antique looking brass, or is it copper pot? Little small one. It's interesting how they made it. You see the little jigsaw little lines. Here we have a Star Wars Lego toy. 56 pieces. And this $3.99 vintage Mickey Mouse, like a talking pull tab Mickey Mouse, but the string, I guess pull string, the string was broken off, so I didn't want to mess with that. And this was interesting, $29.99. It was, if it was new in the box, I would have bought it, but you don't know what sort of missing pieces are in that set. And this big mechano robot, hard to say so very fast, reminded me of that robot movie years ago. And look, we got Spider-Man. Coinpicker Jr. would have liked this, but I would not be a responsible father if I bought it for him, because if you yank Spider-Man's feet, you get a little dagger. Very dangerous. Well, not that dangerous, but there was a lot of anime miniature little swords. I think these are knockoffs from China, so I didn't touch any of that. I think it's dead stock. We have this lucky cat, Japanese cat. Usually you see these at Japanese restaurants at the front door. Mahjong set. These are probably from the 80s. There's a whole bunch of them, but they're all, I don't know, very used. So I left those alone. And we have this vintage toy. Reminded me when I was a little kid. I think I had one when I was like 3. Was that riding horse? And then we have this little mini. Say that 10 times fast. That was pretty cool. I think it was like $50. Pretty cheap. And then we have this little toy, Matchbox toy. The comps didn't go very high on this, so I left it alone. And then we have this vintage Japanese programmable robot, $6.99. I would have bought it. This was from the Value Village, but the back, all right, there's some corrosion in the battery compartment and the back cover was missing. It would have been awesome if it was complete. And then there was bags and bags of these little toy motorcycles. Someone's old collection, I guess. Saw this vintage, I think 1960s or 70s tin toy, Japanese. Pretty cool, but you know, didn't have a harsh high value and it wasn't super old. It's cool though. You don't see too many of those at the thrift store. And then there was this toy, $2.99, was pretty cheap. It's from West Germany, when there was an East and West Germany. Little drum, lithographed, I guess you'd say. Not many comps, but cheap. And then this more modern looking transformer. I think there's some like mini batteries in it to make lights or noise. I thought it was interesting, but I like the vintage stuff, like the G1, G2 stuff. $7.99, it wasn't cheap either. And then I saw this vintage game cartridge, Genesis. It's at 95, NHL, All-Stars Hockey. And then we saw these Lego boxes. I asked to see them, and actually you shake it, you could hear it rattling around, so it was opened and used, so I left that alone. Saw this toy, comps at about $50, and it was only $12.99, but I didn't want to mess with it. It was sort of bulky. And I saw this at a Value Village, surprisingly, right on the shelf. Don't know if it worked or not. There was no cables, you couldn't really test it. But it was interesting, they just left it on the shelf. And I thought this was interesting, these fridge magnets with the Hebrew. Imported by Brooklyn, made in China. And then we have these Christmas ornaments, Betty Boop, Coca-Cola. That I probably could have sold for like $15-20 Canadian, but didn't want to mess with it. And this is a cool piggy bank, Japanese one. And that character means alcohol or wine. Oh, this is interesting. This feather, was it an owl with real feathers? And this platter was cool. It's shaped like a LP, a record. And if you see closely, it says Irresistible, sort of that name of the song. And it's not that old, actually. It's actually made by Kate Spade and Lennox. Silver-plated tray. And at first I thought, oh, this looks like a miniature, those vintage coffee pots from the mid-century, but it's a salt and pepper shaker. This, I almost bought it, but there was some scratches on the side. Robert held art glass, very nice. Good size too. This is an interesting piece of glass. I liked how delicate the bottom was. And this shaker was cool because it had something in the glass like magnesium that is starting to turn purple. So, but the only thing is, deal breaker was the crack. There was a crack in it. You put on your shelf, like in a window, it'll probably turn more purple. This was interesting. This was some sort of arts, crafts bottle, and it was actually a vintage or antique bottle that they used. Interesting. Cow Wow powder. Some McDonald's glasses from the Batman, one of the Batman movies, 3 of them. I think they were like 99 cents each or $1.29 each. Very good price. And this is from the 70s. It looks brand new. Someone probably took care of it. 99 cents. I should have bought it. Didn't. There was another one that looked used, and this was the better of the two. And I saw these shooters. Johnson Space Center, NASA, with the space shuttle, pretty cool. And saw some Blue Mountain pottery, very collectible in Canada. I think it's made, in Alberta or somewhere like that. This was interesting. This West Point mug. And I saw this German mug, and I was debating almost to buy it. $5.99, looked pretty cool, pewter top. And this tobacco container, I think it's from either Germany or Holland, but it was missing the cover, the metal cover. That's where the sponge would be, attached. It says Van Rossen's tobacco, like tobacco, anno, meaning year 1750. I don't think it really was from 1750. Probably 1920, 1910, maybe up to 1930. I don't know, maybe later. This was pretty cool. Nice piece of porcelain, little container, cute little dog on it. I think that's just printed on though, but done well. Royal Staffordshire, England, $2.99, made by hand. Maybe I should have bought it. This was a cool porcelain piece as well. Also English, and it was from Alton, England. Pretty cool. This was a nice piece. I always keep my eyes open for RS Prussia, because living the good life, she always mentions that and always looks for it. So got that on the radar now. This is a Toby jug, pretty cool. Just saw that tonight, $2.99, sitting on the fence on it. I thought, I don't really like it that much. Probably worth $15, 20 maybe. This cool plate, ironstone. I don't know, it looks like American Federal Eagle. This Japanese porcelain looked pretty cool and has a hole in the bottom. I don't know. I don't think it's part of a lamp because it has a cover. Don't know what purpose it was for. If you out there know, just let me know, share. Deal breaker was this chip right on the edge. This is probably 1870s or 1880s. This is also Japanese, Moriage. See, it's bumpy on the outside, that technique. This is probably turn of the century. $3.99 cheap. It's a biscuit jar, I believe. But again, I don't buy damaged stuff. Big chip on the inside. Well, I try not to buy damaged stuff. This is interesting. Post-World War II, made in occupied Japan. It's a cup and saucer. And this, I was excited. I had to lift it up. It looks like a Chinese vase. It looked good, crackling under the lid. It says, Great Qing Dynasty Shunqi year made. Until I saw that little sticker, it's a reproduction. If it was real, it'd be like 1644 AD. And this cute little cat teapot was very cute. This was unusual. I couldn't find any comps, but for 99 cents, you open it up and it contains a bottle opener. Actually, it came in a set, like 2 glasses and that, like online. Not much value. This metronome looked pretty good, $4, good name and original packaging, but there was a broken piece off the plastic cover. So that was a deal breaker. And this interesting cake pan, I don't know, it caught my eye, because it's shaped like a guitar. This is a vintage in-box iron, probably from the 60s. Interesting. This sun lamp, totally 1960s images. 1999, I don't know, I could have sold it for 50, but not enough meat on the bone. This, it says used blades, $6.99. I thought that was weird. Like, might as well say used needles or something. This was a funny little big painting, actually. I don't know, what do you think? This was interesting, not the item itself, but how they sold it or labeled it. Yeah, I don't know what to say to that. And this item is pretty freaky. It's made of leather, and I'm half expecting the eyes to just pop open and it to say boo. Well, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Coinpicker out.